Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're just going to have a quick look at the Tamiya British Infantry Tank Mark III, which is the Valentine Mk II or 4. This is a nice kit, 2017, really nice release. Bit out of the blue, but it sort of made sense afterwards where we've got the Archer as well in addition to this. So good old Tamiya keeping the British tanks in the early war and the desert tanks going, so it complements the Matilda and things like that. So we've got lots of nice sprues with lots of good kind of sandy coloured sprues, and we've got a couple of bits, so we'll get out all of this, put the sprues back, and then we'll have a look at the instructions. Now in the more modern Tamiya kits you tend to get this now like an information sheet, so it's in different languages, and the English part is all down here telling you about the development and how we sort of got to where we are as far as it being the Valentine, and then we've got a bit of a breakdown just showing you what the different parts are, which is always quite good for people who are new to the subject, the tank or the model. And because their lacquer paint was just coming out as well, we've got an information sheet showing you all of the lacquer paints that are available, and they're pretty good too. We've got the decals here, and that just shows us a couple of the marking schemes on here. So we've got 2 Russian schemes and then 1 desert scheme, North African British scheme, and that is from, so the schemes are British Army, North Africa 41-42, and then we've got Red Army and the Southern Sector, Eastern Front 1942, and then we've also got Red Army, Unknown Unit and Unknown Time as well. So it's 2 Red Army, and that's what these slogans and numbers are for. And then the 3 and the T47242, they're for the British ones. I'm just trying to work out what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are. Oh, they're the meant to represent the rubber around the front mudguards. So that's a nice touch there. So we'll try them when we actually get around to building this one. So looking at the instruction, it's select your marking scheme, although I don't think a lot. I think it's the same all the way through, just the figures. And as you run on through, we're making up the lower hull section of the hull, and then we've got the upper section. We've got some spars going in as well, which is all very good. And there's some actual exterior parts on these spars. Got the engine cover going on, and then the front plate, front armour plate, wheels, all polycaps, suspension, units, pretty simple looking. As far as construction, that is. Again, polycaps here on the sprockets, but not on the main wheels. And then once we put the wheels on, it's quite unusual with the Valentine, you've got an outer, and the outer wheels are quite large wheels, and then you've got a load of normal size wheels, if you like. This is the sort of beginning when Tamiya, again, they go through this period of like, we build kits like this, and then there's a stop, and then they build them slightly differently, a few more improvements and stop, and now we're hitting the next phase, I would say, with like the Comet and things like that, where they're just sort of moving on a little bit more. They do it with aircraft as well. You'll notice a sort of difference from kind of like the new 148 Spitfire through to the F-35 now, whereas if you look from the Spitfire before, you'll start to notice there's a sort of, they improve in sort of blocks as far as I can see. And because of that, this is when you start getting the beginning of the Lincoln length track. So if you compared this to the Matilda, you get the rubber band and the Lincoln length, and now they're tending just to move to Lincoln length. So that's what we've got here, putting them on. Lincoln length's one of the best ways to do tracks, really. It looks very good, it's highly accurate looking as far as the actual sag in the tracks, and it's already moulded in, and it's a simple way to go about it. And then we've got the doors going on and all the rest of it, cutting on the side fenders, and then the stowage boxes, exhausts, getting on through finishing touches of the actual hull, putting all the handles on, the lights and the sand shield, side skirts, and then we're building up the turret, which is a pretty simple affair. Putting the gun barrel in, it's got this sort of join here, so they're still a little behind on things. When you think Dragon was doing this sort of 10 years before this came out, maybe even longer, where you'd get a slide moulded barrel, here we're getting a one-piece barrel with the open-ended section on it. Now, I don't believe there's a join on the end. There is a join. Well, that's okay then. There you go. I take it all back. So there is meant to be a seam line there. And then another great thing with Tamiya is you always get it now in their kits, figures. 2 figures there, it makes a lovely scene, really great. It gives it sort of that kind of personal touch, and you get a scale of it as well, and it gives that movement feeling. So it's a nice, really nice sort of scene you've got there, and there you can see that's how it's set up. So we'll look at the sprues. It's typical stuff from Tamiya. Nicely stapled bags. It's always good for doing reviews like this. So we will look at the first sprue. And there should be plenty of nice raised details, so there is quite a lot of rivets on this, as you can see there. That's showing them. As you go around here, we've got the front fenders. Nice raised details there on this back plate, front plate, sorry, that goes around here. And we've got the side fenders as well. Really nice looking details all across there. We've got the figures as well. Oh, let's look at the faces. So there you can see, very well detailed. Look here as well. Headphones already on. Nice detail to the clothes as well. Really great stuff. Really, really great stuff. Excited to get on with this one. It's coming down the line. And here we are looking at the next section. So we've got more raised bolts all the way around here. We've got a nice, this frame to give that raised look. Should work very nicely here. Very good indeed. We've got nice exhaust there as well. It's 2 parts, so that will hollow that out. Just glue that section on there. You've got the kind of the mounts there as well to go onto the side fenders. Got a few lights. Have a look a bit wider at it. You can see that all very good. No major ejection pin marks or anything like that in the wrong places. All looking very good. Then we get on to the sprue with the turret and the lower hull. So we've got the turret here. Again, good cast texture. Now, there's a little bit on this. Taken some photos at the one at Bovington, and I wonder if they've been looking at that as well, because it's very heavy like this, all over it. But you do have to wonder sometimes, it's not always cast texture, it's actually heavy paint and the age of the actual tank, but we'll take it as it is and enjoy the cast texture that's on there, because it always adds a nice detail. Gives the model a bit of life, bit of texture, as you can see there. And then the rest of it's all very smooth on these side plates. Raised details again, very nice. There's the barrel, it's just one piece. With the hollowed out end, it should be on here somewhere. There. So you've got the hollowed out end. If that looks a little bit thick, you could always just drill that out a touch more, but I think that looks about right to me. And obviously this is Tamiya, we know it's going to, and it's new Tamiya, you know it's going to go together very well. I don't imagine there's going to be any fit issues. It's a good kind of weekend build. Or one if you've, like me, been doing some rather difficult kits. This will be a nice pickup build as well. So we've got duplicate sprues held together by some polycaps. So we've got just polycaps on the sprockets, idlers and a couple others. No doubt for the gun elevation, the gun breech. So this is a duplicate sprue. It's got all the wheels, very nice stuff, and then we've got the tracks, which are good detail on there. Very nice detail across there. Looks the part very much so. And then let's have a look on the other side. This is the telling bit. Where are the ejector pin marks? Not a problem, they're just outside here. You're never going to see that. And there's only 1, 2, 3. There's 5 on each bit. So if you want to get rid of them, they're just in there, but you can barely see them. I expect it'd be better scraping with a blade rather than trying to sand them. The individual links have ejector pin marks on each side, but again they're quite subtle. There's always something to point out, because if they show up on tracks it can be a bit of a pain come the end when you're looking at your finished model. Yeah, all looks very nice on that sprue. So there we are, that's the review of this Valentine Mark II Stroke 4 from Tamiya. Lovely looking kit. Going to start on this one in the near future and bring it to the channel. Nice little seam, just that on a simple base. As I said before, inspired by that model that was in the competition at Telford. Very nicely done, won gold in the out of box category. Stay tuned to the channel if you want to see that. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like the video, let me know your comments down below. If there's anything you'd like to see going forward, or you got any views if you built this kit, do let me know in the comments down below and I'll be happy to read them. And as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.